It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.
Now, if you consider yourself a car guy by any means, or maybe you have built your own car at some point, you would be familiar with the saying, the last 10% of a project takes the longest. Although I enjoy my ADHD brain most of the time, it's not very efficient when you need to get stuff done. So I made a list. I'm a big list guy, and this one is called the That 10% list. And this isn't even 10% of the 10% that still needs to be done. But at the very least, we have a good starting point. Real quick, before we get started on all of this, I do want to add that we had the first start up of the AU Falcon yesterday. Check this out. Look at that box. Oh my goodness, it exploded. Small backfire. And then that box is done. Definitely the loudest backfire I've ever heard in my whole life. So you need to go check that video out. I'll link it over here. And then, yeah, I started a video series on that, and I can't wait to show you guys what I have in mind with that car. Anyway, back to the list. Recently, I've taken on the major task of moving the engine down and a bit back to get rid of the giant hole in the hood. We got the engine mounts built in the last video, so the engine is ready and sitting where it needs to be. With that being ready, we have the first item on the list, and that is the drive shaft. So because I moved the engine back a bit, we had to shorten the drive shaft. So I already went ahead and got that done. We took another 30 millimeters out of it, so that's ready to go back in the car. But before we can do that, number 2 on the list is the shifter. That also needs to be shortened. We'll definitely get started on that today. Hopefully we can get the first 2 done, and then number 3 will be the firewall. So I need to figure out how to get this piece to fit back in the car. We made some space back there, cut some stuff out, added some stuff, messed up some stuff. We'll get that sorted as well. And then just the other thing is the hood. So because the engine is sitting perfect now under the hood, we can fix that hole, but I kind of have another 203 body, so I'm just gonna get the hood of that one and then get it onto this one, because let's just see, we have a hole over there, we have a hole over there, we have a hole over there, we have a hole over there. So the easiest will be just to get the other hood on here and I guess just spray it, and yeah, but that'll be much later on. And along with that, on the other 203 body, I also want to get the suspension, or just basically the coils off of it, because I don't know if many of you know this, but I cut the coils on this car back when it had the original engine in. That engine was much lighter than this inline 6-cylinder, so now the coils are a bit of a problem. So I want to get the original coils, or some original coils, back in there so that it drives a bit better. And then last but not least, I wanted to actually get started on the front cross member in this video, but there's a guy that came across my videos who is a pretty good fabricator, and he actually offered to give me some advice, help me out to get that thing sorted and actually build something quite decent. He showed me some of the work he's done before, and I can't wait to show you guys the idea we have for this. And yeah, it's gonna be pretty sick and much better than I would have ever been able to do this. I'll probably get into the idea later in the video, so stick around. For now, we can get started on the shifter. So I consider welding as an art form, especially TIG welding. You can create some pretty amazing stuff. So I've been getting some tips from the guy who's going to help me with the cross member. So let's see if we can do this better than before. So I already went ahead and got the measurement. So we're going to take 25 millimeters out of it. 25 should be around there. I just got it taken apart. This is steel, so I'm going to cut it off with the angle grinder, get that welded, should be easy. And then with this one, I'm going to cut it off, but with a saw, with a hand saw, and then clean it up as best as I can. That's the trick with aluminium, your preparation is everything. just love the sound of this thing. Very useful as well. And now that we have everything nice and clean, I'm just gonna give it a final rub with the wire brush. That wire brush doesn't touch anything besides aluminium. Then I'll give it a wipe with some acetone and then we'll get it welded. Putting in some extra time with the preparation makes a huge difference. So here's a before, and then here's what it looks like now. It's just stuck together now. I'm going to wait for it to cool off, get a test fitted in the car before we get it all welded up. Now I will say, having a pedal, this isn't mine, I'm just borrowing it to get comfortable before we get started on the cross member. Makes a huge difference, especially on the aluminium. The welds came out so much better this time. So I'm confident the welds will hold up to some brutal shifting. Now we can go ahead and get everything put back together. Easy as that. And then just for those of you who are interested, always had some issues with the shifter ever since I got the car. The one time I drove around and this little pin fell out. So you have, I don't even know what goes through there. I've never seen it, but I just have a little Allen key bolt with a 10mm lock nut that I get on there. So this slides into the gearbox shifter. So there's a little ball thing, and then it slides into there. And then this one, there's two little tabs on the bell housing, and then you slide this thing through there, and then it hooks onto the bell housing. So let's get that back in the car. Let's see how accurate my measurements was. So we have first gear, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, reverse. Minty. Now let's get the drive shaft back in there, and then we should be done for now under the car.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an action.
Really happy that I could finish up under the car and get everything ready. And the main reason I did that was to get the jack out of there, because number one, I don't think it's very healthy for it to hold up the car like that for like 4 days. And also then I dropped the car back down because I wanted to get the wheel nuts loosened up, and then I also wanted to take some measurements before we get the new coils in there, because I'm kind of curious on how much the original coils will lift it up. Hopefully it does. First time in a while the car's been on the ground. It's so low. 8-year-old me would be in heaven right now. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get those coils with the shocks and everything removed. I'm also gonna take off the hood. I might have an idea I want to try out with a new hood. No, I'm not gonna cut a hole in it, but I have some cool ideas I want to try out. So I want to get that off.
Wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable. Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking. Now that I've been put through, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
And then I also went ahead and got this one out. Second time around goes much faster. And then now I know exactly what tools I'll be needing to get those coils off the other car. Now I still have a hell of a lot of work to do to this thing, so I'm not going to get into any kind of rush, because then I have a tendency to stuff things up. And I also really want to get that Ford drivable so we can start having some fun with it. But for now, I'm going to end this video off here. And like always, thank you so much for watching, and then I'll see you in the next one.